important. It's probably the number one thing I see when people say my pressure's low. When's the last time you replaced your nozzle? Did you put the right size in? Did you grab a nozzle from the machine you've got over here that's different from the machine you use over here? Well, I grabbed a yellow nozzle, right? No. Hello, thanks for watching this video. I'm Ben, one of the owners of American Pressure. I've been doing this for many decades and wanted to go over a few of the misconceptions in this video that I've come across throughout the years, just the way people talk. It's maybe a little different. So this is just to help you out a little bit on how to talk about nozzles a bit. So a lot of times I get a phone call and it says, I need a yellow nozzle for my pressure washer. And I say, what size? And I say, I just told you, yellow. Not what I'm after. Yellow means spray pattern, 15-degree spread. So 0 degree, that's our red. That's the tightest. This is used in aggressive things. Not very common. A lot of manufacturers don't send them out anymore. You need a pencil jet red. Red, kind of the color, means a little more dangerous too. So be careful. Stop. Warning. Yellow is our first spray angle, 15 degree. Spreads out, 15-degree pattern, makes a nice knife edge kind of spray as it comes out. This is probably the most common nozzle for most people in cleaning. Again, yellow, it's a little more aggressive, it's a little tighter, so thus the color. And then green, because that's the next color, usually indicating go, safe, so forth. Again, the pressure is going to be the same coming out of it, but it's going to spread it across a 15 degree instead of or 25 degree instead of a 15. So this green one is right up there with the yellow one on the most common to use. And then the white, great for more surface area and cleaning, it's a 40-degree angle. Those are the basics. So we've got red, 0, yellow, 15, and green is 25. So those are our basic nozzles there. And in this yellow, for instance, we stock about 25 sizes. Your volume and your pressure are what determine what nozzle size you need. Manufacturer, when they design the machine, it's 4 gallons a minute, 4,000 PSI, takes a number 4 nozzle. So talk to someone, they say, give me a 4,000 PSI nozzle, okay? They're rated for that. That's just the rating. It's not how much pressure it's going to make. Give me a 4 gallon a minute nozzle. Give me a 6 gallon a minute nozzle. That's their way of saying, that's the volume I have. I got a 5 gallon a minute machine. I need a 5 gallon a minute nozzle. That's partially true. I'm going to show you something here in our catalog. If you want a catalog, by the way, shoot us an email, info@americanpressure.com, info@americanpressureinc.com. We'll be glad to send you a catalog for free. It has some of the parts we stock. Our website shows them too. But inside right here, we've got a nozzle chart. That tells us for what flow in the middle, what pressure on the top, what nozzle size will do. So nozzle sizes, the gallons per minute a nozzle produces, is matched to 4,000 PSI. Number 2 is 2 gallons a minute at 4,000 PSI. And number 3, 3 gallons a minute at 4,000 PSI, and so on. Okay, you can take that 4 gallon a minute, 4,000 PSI nozzle, that's what it's producing. You put it in a lighter pressure washer, 110 volt electric, let's say, that's designed for 2 gallons a minute at 1,000 PSI. So these two nozzles will be the identical nozzle because volume's down, therefore the pressure's down. Okay, so that makes, that's where that nozzle chart comes in handy, just to make all of that make sense. We have it linked on our website, probably a little drop link in the video here if you want to look at that and study it a little bit more. It is very, very important. You put the wrong size nozzle, too small, let's say your machine takes a number 6 nozzle, you put in a number 3 nozzle, your volume's going to go way down going through that nozzle. If it's hot water, you're going to get way too hot. Hoses are going to be dangerous. It's not going to work right. You're going to overload your engine. It's not going to perform as well. So you're going to think my pressure's low. You're going to crank up your unloader, all sorts of problems. If your unloader's set fine and you've got heat controls, you can switch nozzles around. You can go down on pressure with a bigger nozzle for certain jobs. You can go up if you need to cut back on flow for certain reasons. But overall, you should probably stay with the ideal nozzle for your machine so you're not damaging the machine by going too small, and you're not losing performance by going too big on that nozzle. So all things considered, nozzles very important. It's probably the number one thing I see when people say my pressure's low. When's the last time you replaced your nozzle? Did you put the right size in? Did you grab a nozzle from the machine you've got over here that's different from the machine you use over here? Well, I grabbed a yellow nozzle, right? No, not the yellow nozzle, the size. There's a lot of different brands of nozzles on the market that look very similar here. I've got 3 different brands floating around here in these whites, and they're all made to look like each other. I've got General Pump, which had this design first. That's what we tend to recommend and usually sell for most applications. And we've got a foreign-made nozzle that's a lot less expensive to get, but looks very similar. It's meant to look like a copy. And a domestic-made nozzle that's very similar. That's a decent nozzle, but doesn't clean quite as well from what we've found. So, what sets this General Pump nozzle apart? Let's talk about the construction a little bit. So we've got some nice cutaways here inside this, and we'll probably be doing some image over here if you can't see it too well. We've got the part that goes into the quick coupler, and then in here is a through hardened stainless steel insert. So through hardened meaning the whole piece of metal's been thoroughly or through hardened or throughout hardened, and that's put in a body that houses it. That's then aligned so the spray pattern matches the that. You can see this one is off by a few degrees here, so you put it in, you think, oh, I'm lined up this way, and it fools you. It actually sprays a little differently. That one's lined up pretty well. But that through hardened nozzle, that's going to give you a good precise pattern, and they deburr the edges, which is not common in all manufacturers. It's actually fairly uncommon. That'll give you a more true spray because the edge of that metal is just precisely where it's supposed to be, with no burrs or machining stuff on there. It'd be hard to see when it's present, but they actually do deburr it. But where you see it is in time. So a properly made good nozzle that's not worn out saves you time. When you're washing, it gives you the result you want without wasting your time. A nozzle starts to wear out, you waste time. So when does a nozzle wear out? A General Pump, there's different flows, different pressures, things like that. But maybe you think 300 to 400 hours on a cold water machine, and then maybe half that on a hot water machine. Of course, depending on your flow and pressure, it will change that. Hot water wears out faster because as that water's coming out, there's little kind of eddy currents in there on the edge, and they'll cause cavitation and more erosion as that hot water is leaving and accelerating through there. The water acts a little differently under heat. So, good long-lasting nozzle, key because it saves you time. The right size, very important. Find a nozzle chart on our website, find in our catalog, call us. We're always glad to talk about nozzle size and help you understand what you're doing, because we want your machine to work well. Whether you got it from us and we're taking care of you, or if you bought it somewhere else, just have a question. We're here for everybody. So that's a quick rundown of the pressure washer nozzle in the quick couple style. It's also labeled on the side. This one reads 40 5.5, so that's 5.5 gallons a minute, 4,000 PSI. That's our nozzle size. So this would be very common on a flow, let's say 2.75 gallons a minute at 1,000 PSI, and anywhere in between. That's where the nozzle chart comes in handy. It's kind of nerdy to memorize what performance is, except for 4,000 PSI nozzles do. So let me look at some other styles here. So we've got the quick couple like we talked about. Then we've got 1/4" male thread. These will thread into a fitting. Why would I want that? This one's so much easier. Well, sometimes these go missing far too often, depending on using it, your cruise, where you are, and that. This one will thread into the wand and stay there for you. Then we've got 1/8 inch. These are used back a long time ago, more commonly are in flat surface cleaners. We've even got a female nozzle here, so you screw it right on the end of your wand, saves a fitting. So we've got all those different options for you. Through hardened stainless steel inserts, German-made inserts there. But the nozzles themselves are made in Minnesota, not too far from here. So we've been to the factory many times. It's a great facility. There's some other tricks. How do we make a nozzle even be more effective? This is called a flow straightener. It looks like a figure 8. These can be pressed into the back of the nozzle here, and this will straighten the flow going in ahead of time. And usually you get them lined up and you push them with a vise, but this will straighten the flow and make this nozzle possibly more effective for your tasks. Keeps the pattern even more true, lining up the water. So that's just a quick overview and some random meanderings on nozzles. Thank you for watching.